everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. Apologies for being a little bit late, all sorts of issues. I'm not going to bore you because you want to get into the show. So this is the latest Manchester United news and transfer news as we talk about two, not one, but two midfield transfer races for Manchester United, hot off the press. We'll also be talking about a striker that is looking more and more likely, even if we do not want to sign him, as well as a few other things as well. Some interesting words from Scott McTominay as well. We'll talk about that and Alanga. Tony Bain, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. And he's gifted 5 memberships as well. What a legend you are, Tony. Thank you very much for that right at the start of the show. And we will have an update on De Jong and Timber for you as well. But we've got some really good stuff to get into on tonight's show around Phillips and another player which I'll mention in a minute. But as you can see on my left, we've got the QR code. You can scan that QR code and it will take you straight to the website. We're sponsored by Manscaped, trusted by over 4 million men worldwide. It is for men because it's to trim the grass to make the yard look bigger, which could impress anyone, including yourself. So trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. We've got 20% exclusively for you, 20% off plus free shipping worldwide when you use the link in the description or you scan the QR code. So I'm holding up the Lawnmower 4.0. What's so great about this? Well, it's got a travel lock for those who like to travel. It's also got the lights, which can be for a more precise shave. It's got adjustable lengths for those who want to go really short or long. I prefer to just get not all of it off. You don't want to think about that, but short and make it look better. And also, it uses wireless battery recharging, electromagnetic induction charging, basically, which can lead to larger battery life. And then he said larger something else there. Imagine that. It's also part of the performance package where you can get the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, which is for up your nose, and you can use it in your ear as well. Make sure you clean it first. Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Toner, Performance Boxer Shorts, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. The travel bag's fantastic, actually. If you're travelling or if you're just going somewhere, you can chuck everything in there, including your toothbrush if you want to. Manscaped even threw in 2 gifts to their performance package, which are the travel bag and the boxers. And because Manscaped care about everyone that watches the United Stand, they're giving you a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code United Stand at checkout. So the code United Stand at checkout will get you 20% off plus free shipping. Really good products. Links in the video description, or you can just scan the QR code through the by holding your phone up to the QR code. I tell you, it's really hot tonight as well. I was going to just wear a t-shirt, but I couldn't find a nice t-shirt. Anyway, let's get straight into the show. Brilliant. Thank you to Manscaped. Really good products. Really appreciate that. Well, it's next to me. It says it all there. Right, let's get into this show. So really interesting here. I don't know whether anybody saw this story this afternoon about Manchester United. This is sort of like a prelude to the real story because we've got some good stuff to talk about tonight. Welcome to the Members Club, Nabil. Hi, Mark. Love your content. Just wondering your thoughts on Sesko. Don't have any thoughts on him, JB. Luke Shorten, thank you very much. And Xander, welcome to the Members Club as well. So, look, there was a story in the Telegraph today. Again, it was from Mike McGrath, who also spoke about Martinez, who we did a show on this afternoon, saying that Manchester United inquired about John McGinn from Aston Villa this January transfer window. Now, this makes absolutely no sense to me at all. Absolutely none. Because if we were looking for a midfielder in January, then why would we say no to Zakaria, who was basically free, and Kamara, who was basically free? Why would we be inquiring about John McGinn in January, who would have cost well over £30 million, maybe even more? It makes absolutely no sense that we would inquire about John McGinn, but not go for Zakaria for £5 million or Kamara for £5 million. Now, some people might say, well, McGinn's better, Mark, but can you not remember the spin that came out of the club? We're not buying anybody because we've got a new manager in this summer and we don't want to buy somebody that the new manager might not want. So, and yet we're meant to believe that we were going to go for John McGinn, who's 7 or 8 times more value, more money, 30, 40 million quid on John McGinn, when we don't even know who our manager was in the summer. It's bloody ridiculous. I don't know where that story came from, but it sort of feeds into what I was going to talk about in the sense that I don't think John McGinn's a target for Manchester United. God, no. He's not good enough for Manchester United. Well, actually, he would be good enough for United this season, to be honest. He'd walk into our team and he'd probably win Player of the Year behind Ronaldo and De Gea. But he isn't good enough for where we want to go. But it's quite interesting because I think Villa are touting out John McGinn. And that doesn't mean Man United are going to go for him. But it brings us to, well, I just wanted to mention that story, actually, because I think it's bloody ridiculous. I don't know what you think. I think it's bloody ridiculous. United would that just doesn't make any sense, that story. But what does make sense is that Aston Villa are trying to move John McGinn on. Welcome to the Members Club, Baby Lion. They're trying to move John McGinn on, and I think they're going to go for Calvin Phillips. I think Villa are going to try and get Basuma or Calvin Phillips, and that to me is quite interesting because I think we face a transfer race for two centre defensive midfielders. Now, I can tell you tonight, I've been told that Manchester United are in the race for Enzo Fernandes. He plays at River Plate. I believe, I can't remember his age. I'm going to get caught out here. I think he's either 20 or 22. He's got a release clause of 20 million euros, and United are in the race for him, as are Man City, Real Madrid and Benfica. So Manchester United are interested in Enzo Fernandes. River Plate apparently want 25 million euro, even though his release clause is 20 million euro. I don't know how that works, but United are interested in him. So for those people, he's been mentioned a few times in the past, United are interested in him. Now, whether we could pull that deal off when you've got people like Benfica and Real Madrid and Man City in for him or not, I don't know. But Manchester United apparently are interested in him, and this has been driven by, well, I don't know who, because I don't think it's Erik ten Hag. I'm thinking it might even be Ralf Rangnick. But that's certainly a player to keep an eye on, and there is a transfer race going on there. Apparently United are genuinely interested, so we'll see what happens with that. Welcome to the Members Club, Irish Penguin. And obviously, I think with Calvin Phillips, we've got another player there that we are in a transfer race for. Now, Leeds need to get relegated first, which, to be honest with you, I don't think... If I was a betting person, I would say Leeds probably will go down because I don't think they'll beat Brentford on the final day, although they'll treat it like a cup final. Burnley need to find a point from somewhere to even stand a chance of staying up. So Leeds might survive, and I think if Leeds survive, we won't get Calvin Phillips. But if Leeds go down, I think we're in with a chance. Manchester Evening News, Samuel Luckhurst have said that we're in for him for quite a while now, and I do think we've got a good opportunity of getting him. But I do think that we go back to that Villa story. I think they're going to move McGinn on, and I think that Villa will go for Phillips. Now, can United win a transfer race with Aston Villa? You'd bloody hope so. You would bloody hope so. But is that Leeds to United thing? Maybe he fancies Villa under Steven Gerrard. Maybe he fancies that more than coming to United from Leeds. So, look, what I'm saying is, we talk about the holding midfield situation. We talk about needing a couple of midfielders. We know we're in for De Jong, and I'll talk about De Jong in a minute. But the interesting thing / nervy thing / exciting thing about United's midfield is everywhere we look, it could be the hardest place to get somebody. Now, we're assuming that the striking position is going to be hard because of the competition for people like Nkunku, Darwin Núñez, but I'll talk about that in a moment. But I really think the midfield is going to be the most crucial and hardest area for United to improve on. I honestly believe that De Jong is the best midfield option in the market. I know you want him for around 60 to 65, but what is your maximum price? Well, it's nothing to do with me, Anks. It's nothing to do with me, but I think that there is an opportunity to get him there for nothing more than 65. I hope we get Timber, knock on wood, says Magic Eye, and welcome to Members Club, Anksel. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate the support. Make sure you vote on the community tab what video you want as your exclusive video this week. Mark, would you consider doing a watch along on the FA Trophy final? Nah. At least I'm honest. I wouldn't. Red Army. Do you think Werner is a good striker for Man United? Says Neeson. I don't think he will be. And the speculations are becoming too many, says Kofi. But I think that's not the genius. That's the brilliance of the community that we have and doing these shows, is that story about Lisandro Martinez, I don't believe it's true. I don't believe the Botman story is true. And I don't believe the McGinn story in January was true. Just doesn't make any sense. So the opportunity to talk about these transfer stories is something I never had 15, 20 years ago. You'd get a story in the press and you'd be like, I don't know. So it's good to be able to talk. It's good to talk. Greetings, Mark. Hope you're well. Loved your show on TalkSport. What do you think about Lema, Frenkie de Jong, Timber, Eriksen, Núñez? I like it. 150 million net, 50 to 17 sales. I like it, Opria. Any news on if United are in for Rice? Looks like they're in conference, and I think he would suit as well. I spoke about it this afternoon, Kazu. We're not in for Rice. It's an impossible deal for United to do, apparently, so we're not in for Rice. I'll talk about Timber in a minute, but just going back to what I was talking about there, I do think that the midfield is really interesting. As I said there, I think there's going to be a transfer race for Calvin Phillips if they get relegated. Apparently we're in for this Enzo Fernandes. I know next to nothing about him. Apparently he's well. I mean, if anyone knows his age in the chat, I'm sure he's 20, 21 or 22. He is really well thought of. He's another export from Argentina that they think is going to be really, really good. I mean, look, if Man City are in for him, I hope we're in for him. Man City's record in recruitment is pretty good. And I think that, if there's something in that, let's wait and see. Mark, is it this Friday or a week on Friday we get your big news, says Joshua Bowater? You've had it. It was last Friday, Joshua. There is some other news, but I don't know whether it's coming in next Friday or not. I mean, I'll have to wait and see. Hi, how are you? Do you think there is still even a slighting chance for Kante, says Dilly? At the moment, I don't believe the Kante story. Watch along on Rangers tonight. Yes, Jesse, that's why we're a little bit early. I'm live at 8 o'clock for the Europa League final on That's Football. And Luckhurst stole that CL analogy from a TV show, just so you know, says Jim. Well, it was a very good one. A very good one. So, I always shout out talent if it makes me laugh. Mark, was it true about Michael Knighton getting billionaires to get together and take over the club? Not even heard of it, Tony, so I've got no idea. And Mark, what about Lehmer from Leipzig, says Devanch? Absolutely nothing on Lehmer, but I'm glad you mentioned it, Devanch, because if we don't get Phillips, and we don't get Enzo Fernandez, and we don't get De Jong, and we don't get Neves, where are these two midfielders coming from? I don't want to panic anybody, but where are they going to come from if we don't get De Jong, if we don't get Phillips, if we don't get Neves, if we don't get Lehmer, if we don't get Enzo Fernandez? Where are we going next? I don't know. And look, there is that Kamara lad at Salzburg. He looks decent, but I've never heard us be linked to him. Basuma looks decent. I've never heard us linked to him. Tchouameni's decent. We've never really been in for him. Kamara we were never in for. So I just hope that Manchester United have got a good plan on the midfield, because it has to be a good plan. It's the most essential area. I think you could miss out on Timber, go for Torres, miss out on Torres. Maybe you do go for that Martinez at Ajax. There's plenty of centre-backs out there. But if we get the midfield wrong, we might see McFred again. So we've got to be really careful. We'll see what happens. I don't want to guess on what's going to happen, because I think we'll know more next week. We'll know more about De Jong over the next 2 weeks. We'll know more about Phillips' situation after Sunday. We'll know more about Neves' situation after Sunday. We'll know more about Lehmer's situation after the German Bundesliga finishes. So look, we are still a little bit early to establish, but Kante is being mentioned in the chat. I don't know. I genuinely don't think there's anything in that. What I can tell you, though, so Enzo Fernandez, keep an eye on that. We are in for him, but so are other clubs. Calvin Phillips as well. I'd watch out for Ruben Neves. It's very quiet on Ruben Neves around Manchester United, but I know for a fact we were looking at him last year. He was in our top 3 targets for the midfield that we never got. That won't have changed a year later, so it'd be interesting to see. He's definitely going. Where is he going? Because that could change like that. You could get a story tonight saying United are in for Neves, and then suddenly you've signed him in 2 weeks' time. So just be careful about Neves. My feeling is that he's going to Barcelona, which could help us get De Jong. But I think for me, the players to keep an eye on are Calvin Phillips, De Jong, Neves, and this Enzo Fernandez at the moment. They're the the 4 I'm thinking about at the moment, but we will see. Onto the striker situation. Someone said talk about Botman. I can talk about Botman all you like. He was going to go to Newcastle. Now I think he's going to go to AC Milan. But Man United apparently are hijacking the deal. I've got no information on this other than what's in the press. And my interpretation of this, that this source is weak. It's like getting tomato ketchup, squirting it in a cup, and then turning the cold water tap on, putting it in the cup and just leaving it in there for 10 minutes. And then you look in there and it's a very pale red coloured water with no taste. That's how weak I think this source is. So I don't think United are in for Botman. I don't think we're trying to hijack any deal. Would it surprise me if we did? No, but at this moment in time I don't think we are. And you've got to remember that there will be countless players we get linked to this summer that we're not in for. And we say this every summer. It's happened for probably all of my life. United will get linked to people because if I'm an agent and I'm trying to sell a player and I want a bigger price or a bigger signing on fee or bigger wages, and I say Man United are looking at him, then you might get more money. And what better summer to link your player to Man United than a summer where everybody knows Man United are going to be active in the transfer window. If I'm an agent of any player, I'm basically going to... Man United are trying to hijack this deal. So you've got to be very, very careful of that, even if it's a player that you like. Mark, is Gravenberch definitely gone? Could we jump into Sean from Ireland? Well, there's a deal I would love to hijack. Gravenberch. I mean, I've always said no because Mino Raiola was his agent, but rest in peace, Mino Raiola has passed away now. So Mino Raiola's clients may be dealt with differently from now on. They may get different agents. So Gravenberch, I would love him at Manchester United, but my concern with that was that Mino Raiola was his agent, and I don't think we have a great... Well, we didn't have a great relation. Well, I don't know, but I don't think we had a great relationship with Mino Raiola. I don't think Gravenberch can change. I think he's got his heart set on Bayern Munich, but he would be an Ajax player I would love to get hold of. I saw Bruno trending today. Was it a stat thing, and what were your thoughts, says Daniel Kurt? I don't know why he was trending, Daniel. I genuinely don't know. Tom Jones, think I better dance now. Tom Jones is the latest member of the chat. Think I better dance now. Oh, yeah. Rubbish Tom Jones impression there. With Phelan likely to leave, will stadium refurb plans be pushed forward? Apparently he keeps the stadium standing by leaning up against the wall, says Mason Reed. And De Jong or Phillips don't want to join us for different reasons, but valid. I can see a summer like McGinn and Adara. Ten Hag is going to struggle with transfers, says Sean Turner. Well, is he the prophet of doom, or is he the prophet of realism? We'll have to wait and see. I would offer Barca 50 million for De Jong and pay that either fully or in 2 instalments. Keep costs low, pay quick instalments to secure the deal, says below. Okay. So in relation to De Jong, I'm going to come to him in a minute, but I just want to talk to you about a player I spoke to you about this morning. I don't want to set any alarm bells off, but Richarlison is a player that United are definitely looking at. We've heard it over the last couple of months. It was mentioned to me by the same person who told me about the Timber deal yesterday morning. And again today, I've had information that Richarlison, alongside the Enzo Fernandes story, that Richarlison is definitely a player that Manchester United have on their list, and they've asked Erik ten Hag to consider. Now, that is good news, and it's a development, because basically what has happened is Manchester United have, as we know, have a list of players that they've been scouting for the last 6-8 months before they knew who the manager was going to be. So they've got players that they've been looking at. They present those players to Ten Hag, and he has the power to say yes or no. Richarlison is one of the players that Manchester United have suggested to Erik ten Hag to consider as an attacking option to bring to Manchester United. Mario Franco, welcome to the Members Club, and Martin Dan, welcome as well. So, without a shadow of a doubt, Richarlison is under consideration for Manchester United. Darwin Núñez is as well, and potentially Nkunku is as well. James Jones, welcome to the Members Club. So, look, do I want him to come to Manchester United, Richarlison? No, I don't. Enzo Fernandes is 21. Who do you think will win the title, Mark, says Da Vinci? Hopefully Man City. So Richarlison is a player I do not want at Manchester United. Now, if we sign him, then I would be very interested in that. I would be. But I've got to be honest, he is not a player that fills me with confidence. But I do believe that Erik ten Hag could be persuaded by Manchester United if that was to happen. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But I don't really think that he is a player that I would go for in relation to Richarlison. But I have to admit, Manchester United definitely are looking at him. So there we go. I'm just trying to find something out for you while I'm live. There we go. I'll just put that in there. Right. Twitter, Mark. I've looked on Twitter. I can't see anything. James Jones, yeah, welcome. Who do you think will win the title, Mark? Man City. So, yeah, Richarlison is very easy. Interesting. Hi, Mark. Enjoying these transfer news streams and the Ten Hag future. Here's to United stand. Do you know if the match is being televised? What match? No, people are getting excited about Gerard Romero saying Frenkie de Jong to Manchester United soon. His update is coming soon, you thick prats. He's not said he's coming to Manchester United soon. That's not the update, as far as I know. I I don't think it is anyway. Let me have a look. De Jong. So Gerard Romero is the person who's... I mean, I don't know whether you've watched any of his streams. He doesn't fill me with any confidence. He has been right about some things in the past, but my oh my, he is an interesting guy. Yeah, that's not a direct quote. Effectively, he's basically been misquoted on his stream saying Manchester United soon for De Jong. So yeah, he's not. Remember, there's a language barrier there. So he's talking about Manchester United and De Jong, and basically what he means is that it's not. Yeah, he's not. Denton, you can go. Bye-bye. I don't get told what to speak by you, mate. I've been doing it for 7 years. You don't tell me what to say on this stream. You useless, rude person. Try and do a live stream with 13,000 people trying to tell you fake news and see how you deal with it. It's very difficult. I don't want to give people false hope on something that hasn't actually been said. The interpretation of what he said was that Frenkie de Jong, Manchester United soon, and he's talking about there being an update soon. In fact, his very last update, to be honest, was that it'll be a couple of weeks. Which was what I was going to say. Would seriously push for Bellingham and pair with Sancho if other midfield targets become unavailable. Your thoughts? We're not going to get Sancho, Ross. He's already said that he's staying, and there's no way that Dortmund will sell 2 players in one summer. They just won't. We know how difficult Dortmund are to deal with. I heard that De Jong doesn't want to join us because of the Champions League, but Ten Hag continues to persuade him. Do you still feel we can make this deal happen, says G? Well, look, in relation to Elias says, do you think Arsenal will be a top 4 team next season with young players like Saka, Smith? Elias, I hate to inform you that this is a United channel. And on That's Football, I'll happily talk about Arsenal, but I couldn't give 2 shits about Arsenal being a top 4 team next year, to be honest with you. So I'm not going to get talking to that. Yeah, so look, the latest on De Jong is this. Barcelona and Manchester United haven't agreed a fee. Barcelona want more than Manchester United are willing to pay. And De Jong hasn't been persuaded that he wants to leave Barcelona. So that's where it is. I think people want that deal to be like, yeah, there's a breakthrough, but there's never going to be a breakthrough before Sunday because De Jong will never commit to Manchester United until he knows what tournament we're going to be in. So this is going to run. I think it could run into June, but it's certainly going to run for another week. There may well be big developments, but at the moment in this moment in time, there's nothing happening on De Jong. I mean, it's a week ago tonight that we got the 95% chance from Gerard Romero. I still think there'll be a bit of time before that. Wasn't Barca just in Europe? Stick it out, Frankie, says Sean O'Rourke. And in relation to Timber, highly likely to come to United, which is what we've said before. I'm going to tweet at about 10:30 my percentages, the Hotometer, which I do every couple of nights. But I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. Timber, I'm going to move up from 70%. So quite good information on him. Personal terms have been agreed with the club. And Manchester United and Timber in relation to who wants to come to the club. We're working on a transfer fee with Ajax, and I still believe that could happen and be our first one. Adichie says Barca want Lewandowski, so De Jong will leave. I think. Well, look, there's no mix up on this. De Jong is a player that Barcelona know they can sell to raise money. It's very much like for Barcelona. You're mortgaged up to the hilt, you've got nothing left in the bank, and you really, 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 really want to buy yourself fish and chips tonight. And your neighbour's got a tenner, and they're going, this will buy you fish and chips tonight, but for that tenner, I want, and then he said, a night with your wife. That would be, it's not indecent proposal, and we're not doing, and she'd have to be willing. So that's completely wrong. But what I'm saying, indecent proposal is a film. You wouldn't be able to make that film now, would you? I'll give you $1 million. He's playing casino. He's in the casino with his wife on this film, Indecent Proposal, with Woody Harrelson, Demi Moore, and Robert Redford. He's in a casino. They're all getting on really well. She's definitely not said she wants to go to bed with him. And he says to her husband, I'll give you £1 million for a night with your wife. And they go off and discuss it. it's in. You just wouldn't make a film like that, would you now? But no, you want your fish and chips. Your neighbour stood there with a tenner, and he says, what are you going to give him for a tenner? I want your lawnmower. I don't know. A tenner's not enough. But at the end of the day, if Barcelona want to buy Lewandowski and Neves and whoever they want to get, they've got to sell somebody, and that's the decision they've got to make. And if they're going to do that, they've either got to sell De Jong, sell somebody else, or find a way to make some money in... I haven't watched Indecent Proposal for ages, Savage. I might watch it again. They've got to find a way to make a lot of money in a very short period of time. And to be honest with you, I might be completely wrong here, but I don't believe the president of Barcelona when he says they're looking at commercial opportunities to raise the money to buy the players they need. I think they know they've got to sell. I think United know they've got to sell. And I think United are doing the right thing. I think instead of saying there's 75 million for De Jong, they're probably saying there's 60 million for De Jong. And there's a bit of negotiating going on. I found Bruno thing. It's a graph showing Premier League chance creation this season and he's top. Thoughts? Will he be back to his best for Eric? Says Daniel Kirk. Look, Bruno Fernandes is a fantastic player. He's one of my favourite players at the club, but he's not beyond criticism. And this season, especially since Christmas, he's been terrible. In fact, I would say Christmas last year, he got burnt out by Ollie. I never think he's been as good as he was in that first year. Yes, he gets goals. Yes, he gets assists, but I don't think he's played well. And some people can be blinded by chance creation and goals and assists. But if you watch the games, he's not played well. And if Bruno came out and went, sit down haters, look at my goals and assists and chance creation, well, he would be a definition of somebody who's hiding behind stats because his overall gameplay hasn't been good. But if he can do all those things, chance creation, goals, assists, playing badly, imagine what he can do if he plays well. And he gives the ball away a lot. I think he's a good player who's lost his way and doesn't have any development. So yes, I think that there is a good player in Bruno and I do really, really like him. But it's interesting. I don't know whether anyone saw, welcome to the Members Club United Giggsy. I don't know whether anyone saw the tweet, the interview between Scott McTominay and Alanga. Scott McTominay said, you're talking about time off in the summer. He says, your switch off time is your holiday with your family. But even then, I'm still thinking I need to train. I need to go and do some stuff to make sure I'm in peak condition for the new coach. And this is interesting, isn't it? Because this is what is going to happen with all of our players now, that Manchester United are realistically going to start saying things like, they're going to start saying things like, oh yeah, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be working over the summer, this, that and the other. But every single United player, bar 2 or 3, what were you doing this season then? Don't talk to me about what you're going to do this summer transfer window, how you're not going to have much of a holiday and you're going to be training this, that and the other. Look at what's happened this season. United should go for Frenkie de Jong to USFC, or he's a blast from the past, Bram. Patrick, welcome to the Members Club. Do you think Gerrard will stop Man City, Mark? He better bloody not, Da Vinci. He better bloody not. It's going to be exciting though, isn't it? Look, the final day is going to be exciting in many ways. Will City win the title? I hope so. Will Leeds get relegated? I hope so. If you want Calvin Phillips. Will we get Europa League football? I hope so. Will Spurs get top 4? I hope so. But it could be Arsenal who get top 4. It could be Liverpool who win the league. It could be Burnley who gets relegated. And it could be West Ham who get Europa League. It's going to be a very interesting final day. And obviously we'll be live with the watch-along of that on Sunday. But beyond that, once we have got Europa League football, hopefully we do get Europa League football, I think on Monday morning we'll wake up with a much better idea on who's going where and where they're going. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But look, we will wait and see. Anyway, look, I am literally going to be live on That's Football in 5 minutes because it's the Europa League final. I heard the Glazers are buying an Indian Premier League cricket team, says Kai. I mean, that's slow sports news, Kai. Slow sports news. That's been going on for a while. That has. Just to confirm as well, we had a little bit of a wobble in the middle where people were saying that Frenkie de Jong to Manchester United soon from Gerard Romero. It was trolling. It wasn't true. There is nothing new about that at the moment. Will you have Folk on the channel in June? Says Jag. I've not. I mean, we could ask him to come on. I've not really. I like Christian Folk, but I've not really thought about having him on the show. I think the reason for that was because of Sancho. are we looking at any players in Germany? Maybe if things developed around certain centre-backs or midfielders, it might be worth it. But it's a good shout. Thank you. Welcome to the Members Club, Venki. Appreciate that. Just before that, actually, let me just say this, that don't forget, we're sponsored by Manscaped on the show today. You can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code UnitedStand. Or you can hold your camera up to that QR code next to me, and it will take you directly to the website. Really good products. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Got a really good video for you coming up tomorrow morning. Probably up when the time you wake up. There was a little one this morning about Ten Hag must not do this if you've not seen it. It's only 6 minutes long. And got another one going up for you about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. But also, we'll be back at 10 o'clock in the morning. And of course, if anything did break about De Jong or anything like that, we would go live for you tonight or tomorrow. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and get involved. I'm going to be live on That's Football in 5 minutes for a Europa League final watch along. We'll continue the chat on there. We've also got a major poll that you can get involved in. 8 candidates for Premier League transfer of the season. Who's going to win it? There is a United player in there, so you might want to pop on and wind all the non-United fans up. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you on That's Football in a bit. And of course, we'll have loads of content for you again tomorrow on the United Stand. And thanks everyone who's joined the Members Club. And don't forget to check out Manscaped. I'll speak to you all in a bit.